Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here. And it is a Friday, and I just got back from lunch. I brought back some sushi, and you gotta see it. It's great. 3 rolls. They have a 3-roll special here tonight. But anyway, feeling good watching the market. Doing my research mostly today, getting ready for the HPS watch list. But then I'm watching the market. I haven't taken any futures trades or anything yet. And I just got back from lunch, and I said, you know what? What's the ultimate dream? Is to be able to come down, sit down at your computer, and find a trade and just make that money. Say, hey, I want to have a nice sushi lunch, and then I want to make $100, and I want to call it a day, and I want to be able to do that anytime I walk into my office. Maybe I want to take the first half of the day off, and go fishing, because I know there's a certain setup out there, and all I have to do is be there when it happens, or at least know how to identify it while it's happening. We're going to make some money. So here I am, having some sushi, going to fire up the Dom, and we're going to see if we can make a little money going into 1 o'clock today. All right, so what the first thing I want to do right now, and what I'm doing right now, is just take a look at the market. I wasn't paying attention to too much today because it was, like I said, I was working on stocks research and other things. But as you can see, we go back, and we had a bearish flag breakdown. I was looking at it this morning. As you can see, in the morning I was more active in it. Then I started my research, and I just got, I just said, well, let me get focused back on here. So in the morning we had this nice 1, 2, 3 channel, and the channel moving up into this, and then look at that drop off. And we flushed through, but there was no real big signal here. Popped back up to the 50 and grinded back down, and then we actually had a small, looks like we had a small divergence here. This higher low and this lower low, and it wasn't a big move. I mean, by the time if you would have got in that 56, it went up to about 58. You probably could have got your 3 ticks on that if you timed that one right. And then we kind of just moved along. This is where we are right now. We're coming up to the market's down here, and I said, you know what, we might actually start to see some type of divergence. So what I like to do is just go through, check our time frames, check the 5-minute time frame. Here's a nice 5-minute time frame, and look how organized this is. This is a nice rotation back down here. It's a nice pullback. You already start to hear those crickets as we pull back into an oversold level. Perfect setup on the 5-minute. Now it'd be dynamite if on the 1 minute, if we get to that divergence setting up. Now, how would that set up? Well, we've kind of drifted lower here. Now, you can take a shot here. It's not a divergence setup. It's a time frame setup. And, that has a higher probability of working out also. But also, this little low right here, we could flush that and hold above that 20 line in this channel. This would be extremely bullish. And I'd say, let's bring up our DOMs and add 2 contracts. We're going to do this with 1 contract. See what we can make. But if we have that significant setup right there, I want to put on 2 contracts. It almost looks like we're going to have that divergence here. It's kind of a double bottom divergence, but let's just make sure. And again, it's about waiting for your perfect setup. If it's not your perfect setup, you say, well, this is kind of a rule. We usually take this. It's a double bottom. We never really came back down lower. Typically, this is that divergence. For the purpose of the video right now, I want to hold off and try to get a better setup, one that I'm very familiar with. Have a little Coca-Cola while I wait. On a side note, our best bet on the day was Carnival Cruise Line, and that made a nice run. It's off the highs now. Also, we're looking at Eli Lilly, which did sell off with the drugs today. The drugs have been weak today. Still holding the pattern, and then there was another one we were looking at. That was the 2 best bets. Let's see what happens here. All right, so now we have our potential divergence set up here. Now, we're flushing out a little. We're breaking down. The lows are right underneath us. It could be a little volume coming in here. It could be kind of a dangerous trade. It's just... We're breaking out of a pattern for a reason. There's a little bit more selling that came in. It's 1 o'clock. PSA is holding up. I was talking about some stocks. Young Brand's starting to push back up. We're waiting for that divergence to set up here. See if industries worked out pretty good today. The VIX here is spiking. So we are getting a nice spike in the VIX also. And now it looks like a divergence on the 1 minute time frame here. Let's take a look at the 5 minute time frame. Oh, the rig count. I think there was some news out here on Baker Hughes oil rigs rise 9. So here's your 5 minute. The 5 minute, again, not giving us a divergence or anything, but definitely a, we'll watch that candle on the 5 too. And that's the candle counter right up here. So it's about a minute and 50 seconds left in that candle. So if it gets down to like 10 seconds, you see a nice hammer starting to form. Then you could actually jump the gun on it if you're trading off of a candle. But that still has a little time left in it. You can see the tail is starting to grow though. We'll go back to that 1 minute time frame, and we're going to see that candle start to grow here on this side. Probably a good setup. Probably was that little news item. So let's see what happens here. We're starting to push right back up. There was that rig count that came out. It caused the market kind of a little fluctuate there. Threw us out of a pattern and now starting to bounce back here. I'm feeling that might have been the
Rambot 1 minute buy signal.
Then here you have a 1 minute buy signal happening right now also.
Rambot 1 minute buy signal.
Well, the object is to make that money today. So if it's, unless it's my really good setup, which I know when it comes, I'll hold off to it. So right now I'm holding off on this. If anything, and let's push this back down to one contract trade if we want to take something like this. But again, you can see this still pulling back down. This is kind of embedded. I'm not extremely confident that we don't chop around and move a little lower. I want to take a look at the cash chart here also. And this is not a big stressful trade at all. This is what's great about this is we know we know what we're looking for, and when we see it, it's easy enough to spot, and then it's just about pushing the buttons and managing the trade. If it doesn't show up 100% like you want to see, what you want to see it look like, then you should really back off of it. Wait for your setup. Now you can almost see that 60-minute divergence here too. I mean, excuse me, that 1 minute divergence on the S&P cash, but it's not a full curl up yet. All right, as you can see, I placed that order. I'm going to try to see if this divergence works out and takes us out of this channel. We do have that move back up here. We have a 5 minute on our side. The stop would go under 2056. So let's try to 2055.75. Now we could go with a 3 tick, or we could go for something a little bit bigger. This is our area we need to get through. We need to get through that 58 and change. I'll leave it as a 3-tick profit potential. But I think if we get through that 58 and 3/4, we probably get back up here out of this channel. Now you might be also hearing, I said you might have heard that Rambot signal before. The Rambot is our bot. It's a program we have running on the dashboard, the members dashboard, that identifies divergences, multiple time frames. So we have we know when we're not even in front of the computer, we're going to hear the alert go off. And there it is. We just got taken out of.
High took alert.
And a nice little profit there.
High took alert.
So now I'm going to take another bite of sushi and wait for the next setup. And when that next setup comes, we'll put this right back, bring the video back live, and we'll take that. Now I'm take a look at where it is. That 5-minute really worked good. And the underlying trend line, the reason why you want to let that probably go a little higher is because you have that 5-minute rotation on your side. Perfect rotation. This is perfect every way you look at it. You can see bear flags, you can see bullish flags, you can see pivot areas, you can see channel breakouts. Everything is defined. HPS methodology, and our keys setup is right there. That divergence setup. So we're going to wait for a couple more setups. But if you're not familiar, we broadcast this live every day on DayTraderRockStar.com. So if you want to learn more about the techniques, and we broadcast live every day, full around the clock basically. So join us trading. We have a great team of traders that work off of these patterns. We put together a lot of information in our rooms. Now we pushed up against the 200 period moving average, and in my book, when we talk about the criteria for an entry, you also have a criteria for an exit, and it's when on this type of setup, you expect a divergence to break you out of the channel. So your goal is to get through that channel line, but then up above it, so you have a couple of things: the 200 period moving average, and you have the overbought levels now, and that usually gives us a fast reaction right back down. And when we talk about micromanaging this, we're talking about scalpers. We're not talking about someone who's in here and maybe thinks they're going to pull back to 57 and move to 61. If you're trading that way, then that's a different strategy. We're looking at getting the biggest move in the shortest amount of time, moving it out, taking it off, understanding how to get in it and how to get out of it. This might move higher. It doesn't say we're wrong. We have to
1-minute sell signal.
We have to stick to the signals. As you can hear, there's that Rambot sell signal now coming in, so you don't miss these opportunities. And like I said, this could still push higher because you have that 5-minute time frame.
1-minute sell
but
signal.
The short time frame here, there's going to be a little interesting activity here. Will it hold? Will it pull back? The odds are that it's going to pull back a little. That's why the criteria suggests that you take it off here, wait for your high probability entry zone, do it over. In this case, you could actually take a short setup there. It doesn't mean that you can't take a short setup, but we look for a visual divergence as our confirmation. As you can see, there's a Rambot divergence signal there, but you can't see it on this way, but there is. That's because the internal formula is always calculating the price and the momentum against each other. And you could easily get that divergence without seeing a real big divergence on the oscillator. So it becomes you have to have a little bit more faith in the signal without seeing it. But for me, again, key, this type of setup right here gives you the best results, and we're going to continue to bring that to you. That's my goal. My goal is to just bring you the best setups. Well, I'm continuing to watch this move higher off of our signal. Now we took it off it was one contract, got $37.50 for it, and again, the moral of the story is to be able to come in here, see a good setup, and make that money, not being a slave to the computer, not being knowing what you're doing, having a business plan. And I talk about that every day now. Have a business plan, know your criteria, know why you're getting into a setup, know why you're taking profits, bank that money, move on, do it again. It might seem a little boring. It does you give it a rush of getting into something. Oh my God, I'm getting into a $4 stock. Ooh, it could go to 8. I heard it's going to go to 9. Well, don't play that game. That game is a gambling game. Now, this is the game to be in. If you want to win, truly be successful, you have to lock yourself into what works. Don't even deviate from it at all. That just brings on bad habits and stuff. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. I work on it now for 20 years. But at this point now, you realize after 20 years of trading, you've tried everything that doesn't work. You've narrowed down, a few that are great, and then one that stands out. Why would you even do anything else? Have a great day. I'm going to start the other research video. If there's another setup, I'll maybe start a new video, but we'll call that a wrap. Have a good day.